Let's get you an Olympic update. The men's basketball tournament resumes today at the Paris Olympics, and Team USA will once again assume all the pressure surrounding winning a gold medal. Shooting and depth have carried us thus far these summer games. Serbia, we face them once again. The winner of that game gets the winner of France and Germany in the final. All right, we're back on set, joined by Ashley Nicole Moss to get us ready for all the action.
Olympic colors.
Yeah, red. Tommy's
got some blue.
Red action.
Yeah, we're festive. We're in there.
I got it.
Team USA vibes.
Not to be mistaken with the Serbian flag.
No, yeah.
By the way, just to make sure we're on this side of
Only
things.
for Team USA. Don't get it twisted.
Our producer Jack wants to stir things up, as he likes to do. We're facing a familiar foe in Serbia, Ashley. How should we sort of enter this game from a fan standpoint, knowing we're facing a team that we faced before?
Okay, so 3 times the charm. Whether you're a USA, that means beating them 3 times. Yes. If you're Serbia, that means pulling the upset, right? So we're on 2 sides of the spectrum here. Now, there is a rumor, it's a tall tale, if you will, an urban legend, that Serbia plays chess, not checkers. Meaning,
I've heard this.
They don't tell you how good they are in exhibition games. Early on in the Olympics, they make you think, oh, this is easy. We're going to go ahead and tear these guys up every single time we play them. And then all of a sudden, they pop out drastically differently. Now, look, I think that Serbia on a good day is competitive. They should be competitive actually every single time they play Team USA. But when we talk about Serbia, it's very Jokic heavy, as you would expect. He leads in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He's shooting 60%. And the interesting thing about this team is when Jokic is on the floor, Serbia is able to outscore opponents 43 points. When he is on the bench, they have been outscored by 12 points. And you actually saw that in the game on July 28th. And when we won that game, we won by the point differential that kind of manifested itself when Jokic was on the bench. So he is the focal point of this team, but the guy needs some rest. So he's going to have to sit on the bench eventually.
I was going to say maybe a lot of minutes for the Joker if we're expecting that. But let's talk about the flip side, because you mentioned, hey, they're playing chess, not checkers. They don't really show their hand to let us know how good they are potentially. Yeah, if that is true, right? And again, this is the 3rd time these teams are matching up, and the U.S. has played them, what, twice in the last 20-some-odd days. They've beaten them by a lot. If Serbia and the Joker want to pull off an upset, or at least keep it competitive, based on what we've seen so far, what does that formula look like?
So it's interesting, right? The Serbian team, they're big, but they play very, very slow, which is a direct contrast to how Team USA plays. They're quick, they're agile, they're athletic. And that's not to say that Serbia doesn't have athleticism, but it's a different kind of athleticism. It's more Euro basketball athleticism, if you will, which is a lot slower. It relies more on size, on defense, on physicality. The thing about Team USA that makes them so deadly is they can beat you offensively, they can beat you defensively, but they can also go ahead and strip parts of your game that make you so lethal, and they can go ahead and make you play to them. So it's going to be interesting because we're talking about 2 teams that have drastically different playing styles. The guys on Team USA are more athletic in terms of speed, in terms of how they can control the pace, in terms of what you can throw at them, meaning Serbia offensively. So I would just say you have to make Team USA play your game, and that's a much slower paced game. If you do that, it evens the playing field a little bit more. And again, this is no knock to Serbia. This is a good basketball team. I mean, they're here for a reason. They rally around Jokic. They've had success in the Euro League. They've had success in FIBA, so definitely not knocking them. But, you know, we sent the Avengers to Paris, so it's going to be a little hard to beat us. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If we're going to piggyback off that theme, that means Steve Kerr is Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson. He's got to put the right team together, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And when it comes to Nikola Jokic, we finally saw Joel Embiid recently. What type of bigs do you think he's going to be putting out on the floor to try to handle the 3-time MVP?
You know, I think that Steve Kerr is going to be throwing a little bit of everything at Serbia, right? I think that you saw in the exhibition game specifically. Now, look, again, the urban legend is they weren't really trying, but let's say that Serbia was actually trying. You can go ahead and beat them with speed. You can beat them with tenacity, and you also have to make sure that when Jokic is on the bench, because he's going to have to take a breather. He's only human. I know the 3-time MVP sometimes makes us think that he's immortal, but he's not. He's merely a man. He's going to have to go ahead and get some rest. I think Steve Kerr is going to go ahead and then put his most lethal scoring unit on the floor to jack up that point differential so that when Jokic comes back, it's such a tall order for him to go ahead and have to, fill the void on his own accord, that it's just going to be too much for one person to handle.
So the winner of USA-Serbia is going to face the winner of France-Germany for the gold medal game.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to shake out? Who do you see coming out? USA against who?
Well, listen, Germany,
I'm assuming that.
Germany looked really, really well. Looked really, really good, I should say. We were watching it upstairs in the newsroom, and this is a team that has played together for years. I mean, that chemistry, that continuity is there. France, though, is the home team. And I know that you just got back from Paris.
Let me tell you something, Ash.
Yeah.
It was wild because the watch parties, right, for the fans was at Hotel de Ville, which is in the heart of the city. And I believe it was for France, Canada. Just the watch party, it was wrapped around the building, the line to get in, and you could hear them screaming, cheering anytime Wemby took a breath.
Yeah.
For the entirety of that game, you could be 6 blocks down the street. So I think France will implode if they win.
Listen, it was interesting watching them play against Australia. Australia is a very good team. Patty Mills hit that Jordan clutch shot, if you will, to send it into overtime. But even with Rudy Gobert on the bench and Wemby not really having a great offensive game, he did a lot of other things well, France was still able to pull it out. Now, yes, we know there are home calls. We see it all the time in the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals, but imagine home country calls. This is a different type of environment. The French national team is a very good team. Germany, however, I feel like has the chemistry and continuity to pull the upset if it is an upset. I don't even know what the odds are for this, but if I had to go ahead and take a gamble on who the toughest opponent for Team USA would be, I'm actually leaning towards Germany.
Okay.
It would have been Canada, though, right? Because you were with Haley earlier in the week. You said Canada was the biggest threat.
I was.
Oh, man.
And I'm listen, it's mind-boggling that a team as good as the Canadian national team, and again, we're talking about a team that has the most, outside of Team USA, active NBA players on it, for France to pull out an upset like that was just absolutely insane. There were a couple calls there that were a little wonky, but again, they are in Paris, they are in France, but taking Canada off of the map and taking them out of the competition was huge, and now I think that it's a weeble wobble, if you will, between France and Germany, who's going to go ahead and give Team USA the biggest competition.
All right, Ashley Nicole Moss joining us here in studio as we are closely following Team USA's quest for another gold medal. And so for more from Ash, make sure you check out the Beyond the Arc podcast. Alongside Bill Ryder and John Gonzalez, they're always talking about the biggest headlines when it comes to basketball, the NBA, all the things you need to know. You can download and listen wherever you get your pods, or you can watch the show by scanning that QR code on your screen.